what's up, y'all? TK Trinidad here. We are doing a rewatch of Total Divas, and I'm not alone. What it do, Ronnie? How you doing?
I just got to tell you that you are the hardest working woman in show business. Though everyone wants to say it's somebody else, it really is TK. But for us to have a little bit of a break because, like you said, you were sick or I was busy or maybe I was grumpy. I just, I missed you is all I'm saying.
I appreciate it. I miss you too. Yeah, it's one of those, it's kind of one of those things. I was reading this article where they're saying this is the time of year where people start, laxing a little bit, especially in the entertainment industry. And I don't know, something about this year, because usually this time of year, I'm just kind of like, all right, cool. Like, 2024, make the vision board, just, kind of ride it out. And this year I'm like, yeah, nah, son, we going in the paint all day. And I'm just like,
hard in the paint. Yes. Foot on the gas.
We'll do all this stuff. So, I'm doing it. So we'll see. But
well, you know what's funny? Not doing it with you, but now that we're back, like I love that we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, all these things, and it's a rewatch of Total Divas. I actually have some things I want to tell you about in the vein of how I not necessarily missed you, but I missed what we've done. So like it's been a little break. We're back. I guess we could watch the show. This is going to be season 1, episode number 3 of Total Bellas and no Divas. I get it wrong every time, but I got stuff to tell you as it pertains to what we do here. So we must be working.
Okay. Let me get this.
Pull up the episode. Well, one of the ones I'll tell you is, I'll start it off now while you're pulling that up. So TK, here's the problem now. And we'll talk about other stuff after you're getting ready for the episode. I now can't watch TV, TK, without yelling at the TV because I'm used to what we do. And I'm realizing I look to the left, I look to the right, and I'm like, nobody cares what I think when I watch reality TV. So this is what our great project has done, is it made me talk way too much, even when we're not streaming live. But anyways, we're streaming live now. So let's get busy, girl. Let's do it.
Yeah, I always talk to you. Always. All right.
Pathetic.
Oh. Well, that's good because we didn't really see a lot of Natalia. We haven't seen her personal story just yet. So that'll be good next episode.
And they're still married, so that's cool too.
The most interesting thing about us doing a rewatch of Total Divas, which was on the E! Channel around 2013, you who have watched it and me watching it for the first time, is that like I'm so into these stories from back then, and not everything ended up as like a happy ending for all of them, but it's still a really fun story. Each of them very fun stories to watch. Pursue their dream,
right? I mean, if you were to look back at my my first relationship or my second relationship, and it to play out on screen, obviously I'm not with those people anymore. So, but even like the breakups, like the breakups are long and blah blah blah. Now my last breakup was like, yo, this is not working. My guy.
Now, what made you say that? Because we were talking while we were doing the rewatch, and it was something. Oh, it was when Trinity told John, like she gave the ultimatum, or was it the other one? No, it was the other one. It was the JoJo and Sebastian, and I said while we were rewatching, I said, oh, that happened quickly. And you were like, oh, but you gotta, what'd you say? Like, you gotta know, it quicker.
You kind of know. I mean, for me personally, I feel like I know what works for me, and I know my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody is, you could just kind of tell, you know what I'm saying? And like, as you get older, you can kind of just tell, especially for me personally, like being in the industry. And then dating somebody who's not in the industry, there's certain things that, some people are more go with the flow. Some people are a little bit more controlling. Some people are this, some people are that. And so you can kind of know what you're willing to, negotiate on, because it's all a negotiation. Like life, relationships, everything's a negotiation. Like if we were to really, for instance, you love chocolate cake, right? You can't have chocolate cake every single day. Because the negotiation now is you have chocolate cake every single day, and now your body's gonna turn on you. And now you're talking about diabetes. Now, like that's a whole That's a whole thing. You make the negotiation like, I'm going to still have chocolate cake every day. And then the results of that is that like your body's like, yeah, no, it's
right.
You know, all that stuff. So you kind of know, for me now, it's just kind of like,
it's
you
a
know
hard
what
no.
you know.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just kind of like, yeah, we're not.
It still was really fun to watch it though through the eyes of JoJo and the guy that she was dating, Sebastian, because I think I mentioned to you, I was like, oh no, this is like, not to knock Sebastian or any guy she would have been seeing at the time, but you know, if the guy or if the perfect mate is for you, they will wait.
Right.
But this opportunity is only going to happen once. And when I said that, I think I reacted to you because you're real smart with a lot of this stuff. It's like, yes, you could say that now. I'm 40 years old, over 40 years old, have been in the business, so to speak, for a long time. I know that opportunities are huge. You don't want to necessarily not go in completely,
Right.
you know, but then as a young person, you're like, you are kind of torn. To me, I didn't see how she was torn. I wanted her to sort of buck up and say, listen, babe, this is my priority right now. You're still my priority, but I need to go through this process. I couldn't understand her being torn, but you were like, listen, she's a 21-year-old or something like that.
So yeah, I mean, you think the world revolves around you, like both parties. So you have that. And you know, I call it like when you really start paying taxes, that's when life starts getting real.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you pay your taxes when you're in your 20s, blah, blah, blah. But when you like start like legitimately like, you know, make or break as far as tax returns, and now you're filing stuff away as far as, you know, business expenses and, you know, your day. Because I remember when like I was, for instance, like I was training track. I used to train 6 hours a day. But you have to be very focused to train 6 hours a day. You're not, in order to be that type of athlete or to even dedicate to whatever, you're an artist, whatever, their outside stuff can't really affect your life, but you have that luxury to do that when you're younger. When you get older and you have kids and you have families and, you know, you're taking care of people and all this other stuff, there's a lot of other factors that come into play. Like you can really afford to be selfish, you know, depending on who you are, life-wise, like in, you know, at least to your mid-20s, I would say. But after that, I mean, now it's other people you're thinking about, whether you're in a relationship or not. So yeah, you know, at that age, it was all about me. Like I was like, well, it was like everything revolved around me. Now I'm very much more considerate, but I'm also, it's kind of one of those things where it's all about you primarily, but subconsciously as you get older, it's all about your peace.
Well, that's what I'm having a struggle with too. If we're being candid, it's like time management does change. Like you say, your 21-year-old time management of being selfish, like I want it all. And that means the friends, the relationship, but then also the career, which requires sacrifice. Then, as you said, you get to that mid-20s or whatever it is. It's like the time management changes so much. And I'm kind of like over 40 now, a couple years over 40. And it's like, not like I want to just have like a soft life or whatever. I'm not trying to like go that route either. But there are certain boundaries. I mean, I was telling you before we started recording today, this is like the first time in a long time that I took a little beat when it was like Thanksgiving. Now, and then you like scratch your head. You're like, does that mean I don't want it like the next person? But are you also a fool to like be hitting your head against the wall, going for it, chasing your dreams? Like, what is life? Is it about full sacrifice? Go, 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 go. And then you never get to have like a little bit of a peace of mind? Like it's a really big, challenging question. I think that's why we take to this show.
Yeah, no, I told you like I'm really into like I actually might do a show on this, biographies, because there's so many. I feel like we as a society, we don't read as much, and so I've been doing a lot of audiobooks, and one of the ones that stuck out was Trevor Noah's audiobook where he talks about the definition of like a hustler, right? And when you tell, and I still kind of do this, but I kind of catch myself. You tell people like you're hustling all the time. Hustlers, like they hustle for life. And that's not you don't want to be that. You want to be the person who like you learn, you craft the plan, and then you become successful at it. But you're not hustling for the rest of your life. And it's also, you know, depending on what your definition of soft life is or not, but you're not like hustling your whole entire life and having and creating that balance depending on the time of year, but acknowledging it. You know, like I was telling you before the show, it's like this last part, I don't know what happened, you know, in the universe, but I was like, I'm going to go ham this last month. It hasn't been like, I haven't been going ham this whole year, but that means that, like, for instance, I had 3 hours of sleep, still went to the gym. I'm on this new, shout out to Kalila, I'm on this new lifting program. So I'm doing that, and then I come back and then I'm doing this, and then I'm heading back out. And like, I'm probably gonna get 3 hours of sleep for the next 8 or 9 days. And it's like, but I know what the goal is. So it's just, you know, everybody's different. Some people are like, nah, I have to get 8 hours. Some people, you know, everybody's different.
So you're basically saying you could still work smarter, not harder, but still work hard while working smarter. You didn't say that, but that's what I'm going to take out of it. And the thing is, real quick, and I know we're going to end the show real soon. I do want to hear your final opinions on who was the couple that we talked to, we saw the most in this episode. Yeah, I want to get your opinions on that first. But I guess we could just jump right into that. But it's just it's so funny that I was just going to tell you that it's so funny that while I've not done wrestling, nor have I watched the show when it was originally airing, but how it plays an impact on how I feel when pursuing my own career. Like, it's just very funny to me in the best possible way, because it's relatable. Like, I'm like, oh, damn, like, am I making the right decisions? You know what I mean? And when do I got to turn it up? When do I got to not turn it up? What's the smart move? When do I got to pivot? All these things, you know? And I see a lot of that with all these cast members. Eva, some of the things she did last episode where she cut corners, like, she's over here withholding that she's got a boyfriend because it was of benefit to do so. She was saying that she could dance, but she couldn't dance. Like, it is so fascinating. Yeah, building your career.
In the vein of that, remember when, I mean, some people still say this, like, you fake it till you make it. Like, because there was a point where, like, for instance, I like being in radio, right? There was a point where I was taught, like, look, you say yes to everything. If you can't, if you don't know how to do it, you figure it out. And there was one time for me in radio where I said yes, and I shouldn't have said yes.
That's what I'm talking about. And listen, and we never let that be, because we always want to be like, oh no, like, I'm not taking on something. I recently said no to something within the world of radio that I really enjoy. And when I didn't say no, I said not right now, because I was looking up and I was like, I feel like a couple things in my life, I turned 43 in September. A couple things in my life are kind of like falling through the cracks. Let's tighten that up. Let me say no. Potentially that opportunity may not be in the 2 months that I sort of timelined it, but it probably will be. And then when that happens, I will come with the heat that's necessary to win. You know what I'm saying? And I think I love how, I'm not calling you old in any way, but like, you're seasoned, like I'm seasoned, where we're able to talk about these things, where people don't write it off as like, oh, you just don't want it bad enough. No, I want it bad enough. But now what I'm doing differently is I'm doing it smart. I'm making sure, like, what's the point if I'm like crumbling? You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't do nothing for me. You want to show up as maybe not your best self, because sometimes things are hard and you just have to say go no matter what. But like, you really got to be smart about it. But the show, okay, so Trinity, she gave him an ultimatum. Ooh, it stung. It stung, but it was good TV.
Have, Spicy Maddie on here. Spicy, ultimatums.
With her relationship expertness. Yes, we have to.
It's kind of a hit or the ultimatums are always dependent on how much that person loves you. Because if they don't love you that much, the ultimatum's like, look, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm gonna go and do this. That's always my favorite. I love when people, I don't love when people give me ultimatums, but I'm just kind of like, when I'm set in what I want to do, like, your ultimatums don't affect me in any way, shape, or form. It's like, I don't know what to tell you, but this is what's going to be happening. So.
Well, I was worried. I was like, don't give him a pass to go cheat or anything like that. But what we found out in the episode, which to me just warmed my heart, you know, it was like, and it's that television, programming of reality TV. They just string you along in the best possible way all episode with the drama, perfect editing. And then at the end, I mean, that scene where he said, what took him to that place? But he said something like, I have filet mignon at home. Why would I go have, you know, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or whatever? In terms of her being so worried that it's not going to work because a past relationship didn't work. I just was like, so enamored with that scene. What was your take on all that?
I know both of them. They're both dope individuals. They're still married. And, you know, of course, like, I don't know, I'm not in their personal circle, but what they present is, you know, a loving relationship.
Yeah.
And that's a combination of like just dedication. Like, look, I'm dedicated to you and we're going to make this work, period. Yeah. And that's the kind of catch-22 where we are as far as in society, because sometimes people think there's better things elsewhere, or, you know, there's other baggage that they don't know that they're dealing with. Like the fact that Trin was able to process that and realize, okay, well, this is from a last relationship. Like, John's never made me feel this way. So why am I treating him like this? And so that's a very mature thing to, you know, go to realize. But again, you have to go through, it's like everybody's life is a journey, and you can give people advice up the wazoo. However, they're not, you know, you have to experience it. Like, I'm like looking back at certain things that like my coaches, or like, I mean, for a couple days ago, my best friend and I, we were talking about like my 8th grade teacher, and she is like the catalyst as far as like my work ethic. Like, I think that work ethic's in my DNA, but she was the catalyst on how I process and do assignments and do stuff. Like, she's that person. And like, to the point where she was like the teacher where we couldn't wait to get to 8th grade. It was like, oh, man, Miss Quinn. Finally, like, you know, God, she's amazing, all this other stuff. And I reached her out on LinkedIn, right? And she's kind of like, the lesson she taught me back then, I still like, even how I like write certain things and all, like, it's very much due to her. So I mean, you take those, and I forgot where this whole thing rant was going to go, but you kind of take those lessons and you apply them, and that's what life is. That's what life is about. There's certain things that people are going to say to you. You know, I can say things that my coaches told me or whatever that you don't get until you get it. And it's kind of, there's an interview I did with Hyon, you guys should check that out, where she was talking about Booker T, a legend in WWE, and how he was saying things over and over and over again. And it took her 3 years that the light bulb's like, oh, now I see what you're saying. So like, we all have to kind of go through our journeys. And the good thing about this, it seemed like they both had their baggage, but John was really committed. He's like, look, like there's no other one. It's you. And, you know, all I really want for you to do is like, you know, take that step with me. And so, you know, it's heartwarming to see. The jaded part of me is like, man, ain't nobody else like that. But the real part, spicy. The real part is people are like that. You connect on different levels. That was a very roundabout way, but no,
it was a good Trinity and John moment, the whole episode really, but really ending as it did. And as TK's mentioning, Spicy Madi, a dear friend of both of ours, a relationship expert, it's so funny, like when you talk to Madi, there's parts where you have to look so within yourself, you know, and that makes you the better person on whatever the decisions that you are making, within how you communicate with the lover, with family, with friends, whatever. She really ignites that in you. And it's funny that like Trinity just needed to be real with herself, and that's all it took, really. And so it was good to see, but also not too far off, and we could wrap up here. It's fascinating to watch the show because, you know, we are seeing, I think I'm flipping on the TV the other day and I see Nikki Garcia from Barmageddon in the current day. And these are all new characters to me, not to TK. You watched this originally. I did not. And it's interesting to hear or see where they're at today versus where they were at then. But and we could just finish here. Nikki and what's this? Bree? Is it Bree? Yeah. It's really like Nikki's moment with her sister was like, we're so close. I don't want to feel like I'm losing you to him. And that is not a real feeling. I always tell people, like, we sort of made jealousy a really bad and evil thing. Jealousy is a very natural thing. We're like, oh gosh, I really want that. Or, oh, I don't want to lose my friendship or my bond. It's not bad. It's how you don't process it. So we got to watch that in a really authentic, like sisters missing each other kind of way.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, I mean, that's like my best friend, like she's like my sister, and you know, she has kids and stuff like that. So when I call her, it's never like it's me and her talking. It's me and her talking, and then she's talking to the kids, or then she's talking to her husband, and she's, you know what I'm saying? It's always something else. And I could have definitely been like, oh, well, she has no time. But it's like, man, folks with kids and whole relationships, and they out here doing these 9 to 5s and stuff like that. They don't have time to talk to you at 2 o'clock in the afternoon unless it's something severely important. So it's like, once you have that understanding, you know, I appreciate it. And the jealousy is not there. Again, it kind of comes with maturity. And I don't think it has to do with age. It just has to do with who you surround yourself with. And it's kind of one of those things where you have that understanding. Like if you're going to be jealous of somebody, then I mean, and you want to end the relationship based off of something that you're not getting, then you know that's also a combination of being selfish.
Well, also the sister Bree and Brian, they might have had a moment where, not that they were jealous by any means, but they were like, listen, Nikki is in the forefront a lot, not in a jealous way, but she is in the forefront, and she's with John Cena. How do we compete with that? Maybe they just wanted to give themselves the best life for themselves. Sometimes it's not personal, but but they are twins, which is what made it fun. But that's all I got. It was a really fun episode. TK, question for you. Now that this is our 3rd watch along, I did not think I would get to this point, but I'm considering down the road. I love my microphone. You know, I just got the little earpiece or whatever. But I always saw the streamers, the gamers with the headphones with the microphone attached. And listen, I thought it was corny. Do you think it's corny? And also, do you think I should get one?
Well, I am in the midst of getting headphones. We're working on a deal, so include the deal. I include you in the deal. But yeah, I mean, I think sound quality is always great.
Yeah,
but it's optional. It really just depends on it's so many different factors. So this is like a whole like podcast separate note. It's so many different factors. Some podcasters, it's the sound quality because they do use it for audio, and audio, if you listen to, I don't even want to give you these 2 shows, but there's a big difference when you put a little extra touch in audio, and then also if you're actually putting it on podcasting apps where people are just listening to the audio. So long story short, during your podcasting journey, if you are a podcaster or you want to be a podcaster, you've been in the game for a long period of time, to invest in audio is important if you are trying to be dominating across all platforms. And with that being said, to have headphones that are dedicated to audio quality, then it's helpful because then you know what the other person who's listening to it in their car or wherever, how it sounds. Because sometimes when people just do it through their computers or whatever, it's going to sound really hollow. So long story short, if you bout that life, get yourself some headphones.
All right. Well, going into the new year, you could call me top tier randomly Ronnie, because I'm going to succeed with the regular hard mic, which I love, my Shure MV7, but I've been considering the other ones, headphones, mic attached, the good ones. I'm not talking about the $35.99. And if you got that deal going, we could talk offline. But I think it's also fun because I've never done it like this. I've always done a podcast where it's like, here's our topic, let's break it down, boom and boom. This is actually a different thing, a watch along I've never done. So I find like I'm more in a space of like, oh, I could be, I don't know what I would do with my hands, but I just feel like more watch along, Twitch, streamer, gamer kind of vibes. Kinda. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you guys let us know in the chat too. I mean, how we sound, how all that stuff. But
and you could also say how you,
What are you gonna say?
It was a selfish and arrogant comment about how we're great, but go ahead.
Wow. But yeah, no, I'm looking at upgrading all my equipment as well. So that's going to be happening in the new year. You know, more mics, a whole studio set up. So yeah, stuff is coming along. But yeah, that's a whole nother, the whole entertainment podcasting thing is a whole situation.
Yeah.
But I think
all right.
time.
Yes, and you can find me at randomlyronniejr.com, goes to all of my content, as well as at randomlyrj is the social media handle. And you could also find me screaming at the TV, not screaming like mad, but like now I talk to the TV more because I'm so used to having TK to laugh and watch along the show. And I'm like, Ronnie, no one is here with you. Stop it already. Either that, TK, or I'm going to start doing it on my own Twitch channel by myself. Like it becomes addictive a little bit in a way.
Yeah, I want to do that. I've been wanting to do that with Catfish for years. So maybe one day if I ever have enough time.
And you pitched that to me and I was like, I don't know. But now I'm like, ooh, this is fun. I used to shun this stuff. I was like, why do people just want to sit here and talk and watch the show together? Like, what? Now I'm like, oh yeah, let's watch the Grammys together. All right, TK, love to you.
Yes. So definitely check out Ronnie for sure. And then you can check me out on everything at TK Trinidad. Definitely support Women's Wrestling Talk at www.talkpod.com. There we go. And then definitely check out our social media at www.talkpod. We had some interviews drop, Gia Miller on Fight TV and also Kalani Jordan on our YouTube channel. Really great content that you should be checking out. With that being said, thank you for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Till next time, guys.